Hi, good evening and welcome to the social political issues and of course trending issues in politics. As it happens, we're going to tell you government policies, explain to you better and of course get feedback about how it affects you and of course see how the government can. And a new turn, I told you things took a new turn since yesterday, so I'll be joined by my co-anchor today again on the program. Let me just welcome.
It promises to be exciting today.
All right, so back here, we'll just go on a short break. When we come back, we'll introduce the three major stories we'll be talking about. But before then, let me just give you a tip of what we'll be talking about. So keep being a greater state when it comes to education or things that has to concern the educational sector today. So we'll talk about it when we come more on the Student Loan Act. Of course, you know that the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, had passed the student bill and how it affects students as well. So we'll go on a short break. When we come right back, you join us. Just stay tuned. And before I forget,
on topical issues affecting the common Nigerian, from issues on politics,
hello Nigeria, I remain committed.
Security, education, health, on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
back to the show. It's still the program, The Love of People and Governance. And in case you're just joining us, then we'll be introducing the stories that we are talking. Welcome to the show once again. It's good to have you join me.
Same here.
Okay, so a quick one. Well, it's just let's start with the stories from home. Of course, the South region. Of course, here in Akwa Ibom State, Governor Omoino. Yeah, well, Akwa Ibom State government has inaugurated 100 million naira education intervention fund to support the indigenous students with disabilities in public tertiary institutions in the state. Omoino, the state governor, also supervise and ensure adequate distribution of the fund and also ordered that the funds be paid directly to the schools of the benefiting students and of course allowances to the students as well. After being president, Comrade Emmanuel Wisdom, yeah, at the government house in Uyo. Yeah. We'll just take a look at the clip first and then we'll come and then just talk about the story a little. Of course, I think this is a good move.
Yeah, it is. It is coming from the governor, less than 100 days in office. And a few of the moves he's made, especially in the state, who seemingly in society look like they are the less privileged, because in the first instance, governance, it's about providing the greatest benefit to the highest number of people in the shortest possible time, especially those who are disadvantaged. So I really commend this, and far and wide across Nigeria, even across other regions, there's been huge commendation on this kind of feat.
Away from the fact that, okay, the governor has made a move, there's something I see about these people living with disabilities. I remember way back in my school days when we had a blind man in class. He could use his typewriter to write, see people like that, I think, thrive hard to make sure that they, would I say, discrimination from the public, because no matter how they try to fit in, it's like walking with a baby. At a point you notice you're walking faster than the baby.
Exactly.
So that keeps happening. Exactly. Well, I know that the governor has also commended the students for their dedication and commitment to the studies despite the challenges they face.
Yeah, true. He warned against bureaucracy in the disbursement of the funds, explaining that the gesture is to encourage the students and make life easier for them. The governor pledged a diplomatic employment in the Ministry of Justice on his completion of the course. That is very, very, very commendable. And also appointed two of the students, Emmanuel Wisdom and Ubong Imo Ikbe, as personal assistants on student matters and personal assistants on students with disability.
Governor for his political inclusion agenda, and of course promised to carry out their duties with diligence. That's a great one. Looking at the clips, seeing them make gestures, seeing them find themselves in the presence of the governor, I think it also gives them happening just less than 100 days into office, as you said. So it's commendable.
Yeah, it is. It is. And in addition, the kind of confidence that these people will have years from now when they tell the story, there is no way they will tell such a story without the name of the executive governor, being mentioned. And that is really to encourage those who are seemingly challenged in society. Of
course, it's a good one. Okay, away from that, this is coming from, I think, anytime I think about Ibona, it's what Nigeria depends on much, and so they should be pampered. It's like going to milk a cow, and this oil producing community in Akwa Ibom State, the blessing of having oil has turned gradually to be a curse following the, and of course activities of multinational oil companies operating in the area have led to oil spills and gas flaring, which have been hazardous to
into the environment, both on land and the marine ecosystem, mainly due to operational failure. Indigenes of Ibeno have lamented how their water has been contaminated by oil spill.
Gets to talk about some of the feedback from the people. Let me talk a little about Ibona. I think that community has suffered for a long time. That community has suffered since way back. I can't trace back. So it looks like when the government wants to listen to their cry, something is being done. Totally. Let me use a simple example. Okay, you have some area that is flooded in a particular road, and so it spoils the road, like we used to have one here in Akwa Ibom State IBB, which the past administration of Governor Otomi Mano had worked on. So what happened before now, once it happens and the road is broken or something, people having suffered this for a very long time, and there is no concrete solution that has been made, or provision to say, let's eradicate the sufferings of this people. Potable water in Ibona, and sees that a sachet of water is sold at 100 naira. So you see a community, let me explain this community, a community that there are some points you dig a little and water comes out.
Water community, I'm not it's a shame anyway, because I expect that at this point it's not specific to only Ibeno. You have the Oguni community, you have a lot of communities here in the southern part of Nigeria that have been completely neglected. There was a particular community that they said they had made all the arrangements to do what is called to try and rearrange. The government didn't do anything about it. So we use this opportunity to really charge the federal government to be more sensitive. These communities produce developing such cities?
You know, still talking about Ibuna, okay? I'm trying to just place my mind back on past events. Ibuna should be developed, depends on, you know, those aquatic lifestyles. And then presently as we speak, you know, there's some fishermen that lament that you can't even find a fish.
Yes, you can completely.
So that's what Ibuna is facing currently, and of course, if the government cannot permanently do something about it, then there is actually a problem.
Serious problem.
Yeah, and then also speaking the Earth Nigeria. With civil societies in the state, one of the persons who spoke recounted how Ibona people, especially the women, saying that links us to the health sector now.
Exactly.
Let's restructure the health sector. It's not all about oh, we've built hospitals for Ibona, we've done this. So it's like not we've built hospitals so Ibona people will keep going there, or we've stopped you know, these issues, talking about women having miscarriages and all of that. So that's a big issue for Ibuna, and of course we are calling on the government to
do something about it.
Do something about it, because honestly it is a big challenge, and it hasn't just as of course analysts who will be joining us virtually, they're already on standby, so we'll quickly go on a short break. When we come right back, I will bring our guests and then we'll talk on the major issue for today. Just stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Topical issues affecting the common Nigerian, from issues on politics,
Hello, Nigeria. I remain committed.
education, health,
lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyeken every week.
All right, welcome back. If you're just tuned in, we're glad that you can join us on the presidency. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has spent and some of the decisions he's had to take and the reaction. Tinubu headed for the UK from France, where he had been attending a summit of a new global proceeded to London, United Kingdom, for a short private visit. According to his special advisor on special duties, communications and strategy, Mr. Dele Alaki, however, the state festival, and that day is today. And ahead of the celebration, federal government has declared Wednesday
many changes and policies since assuming office as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Of course, the Student Loan Act has, of course,
yeah, basically there are conditions for the student loan raised as to could it be, you know, a policy that is going to cushion the effect is gone. So it's an interesting fit. Today we'll also be looking at some of the conditions, because it's not enough for you to announce a student loans or not. I think at this point we should introduce some of our guests. I know he is a member of civil society and a public affairs. Evening. I was telling
the privilege is mine.
I was telling my colleague that if I begin to reel out your CV, we will not live here today.
A quick one, Reverend. Let's get to the student loan. You've gone through. You are aware, let me put it that way, you're aware of the Student Loan Act, which the President had already assented to. And of course, this is support higher educations, because before now, we used to have issues of school dropouts. And of course, I believe before the President came up to assent to this bill, he must have sat down and said, oh, he doesn't like the fact that students always have to drop out. But what do you see? How do you see this bill at this critical time?
Again, the opportunity to engage government, because Patrick Henry is the one that says that our collective freedoms as a people cannot be guaranteed except the actions and inactions of government is shrouded in secrecy. But as long as the media, the third realm of the estate, perhaps, and liberties as a people can be guaranteed, I have a little bit of a challenge with the modus operandi. It is just the same thing that happened, like your colleague Shegun was saying, it's the same thing that happened with the pronouncement of fuel subsidy removal. You would have expected that would have been a tease, but we seem to be making populist statements without a walkthrough plan of how to implement it. One of it, again, is the issue of this student loan. It looks like the government and the endorsement of the people. Do not forget that as we speak now, only a third of the voting population voted for this particular president. So those who didn't vote for him are much more than those who voted for him. So,
Reverend,
I just want to...
Are you with me? Are you with me? Okay, yes, we understand that you have the right to share your opinion. But please, I want to beg you, did not may be tantamount to trying to be sub judice. So please, I understand that there are a lot of things at play, you know, and not everybody believes in this president. But away from the question, I want you to, policy-wise, whether it's knee-jerk reaction, whether it's as a result of pressure, how will you describe his few weeks in office generally? Try and be fair, my reverend.
Okay. No. If you say try and be fair, you are being fair is subjective. For somebody else, I'm being fair. For another person, I'm not being fair. And I'm not politicizing. This is not sub judice. I'm telling you the figures of INEC. Is the figure, if you look at it, not. I'm saying merely by the figures. But again, like I said, for me, in the first 100 days, enough. It's not 100 days, yeah.
Yes,
for me, it's neither here. Yes, it's not predecessor. He appears, like he said, to want to hit the ground running.
True.
Whether the age you allow him run as fast as Usain Bolt, appears to want to. He appears it's not going to be business as usual. All right. He understands the issues. Having been governor of the third largest economy, he appears to be hands-on, understands the dynamic of Nigerians' politics and economy. So if I were to assess him,
track. But let's also link it down to the students' loan bill.
Because even if you look at the official market,
True.
all right, but again is that has also made the availability of dollar hanging there. They are not trickling down yet for the benefit of the common man. But on the average, it appears like we have a seeming
fair assessment, Reverend. I would say that's a fair assessment.
Okay, Reverend, let's come back to the Student Loan Bill, Loan Act rather. Of course, we talked about the conditions. Section 15 of the Student Loan Act, any organization, he has been found guilty of examination malpractice by any authority. He's convicted of the parent has defaulted in respect of student loan or any loan granted to the person. I don't want to go to the different sections. Of course, they have so many things to say, but you also have to consider the Student Loan Act, rather, to cushion effect of school dropout. Okay, students are supposed to be excited. Of course, there's something that is going to happen to us now. We are going to school. We have a loan from the federal government that we are going to pay back. Good job, right?
True.
And then we are earning well. We are able to, of course, have what to put in our pocket. Not just I'm trying to see it as saying, oh, whatever you're being paid as Alawi, keep it, save it.
I think that this administration should take its knee a bit off the neck of the common man. I say so against the backdrop that if you want to, it's just an infinitesimal part of the education financing. We're talking about proper remuneration for lecturers. We're talking about the complete overhaul of the teaching and loan. And then again, I have a problem with the issue of loan. Because if you look at the issue of loan vis-a-vis the issue of grant, I thought that what government should be talking about is a student grant and not just a student loan. Because gradually, all of the things that being more capitalist than we have been more socialist. Because you have removed fuel subsidy. We are hearing that by July 1st, you are going to also remove the subsidy on electricity. Now you are talking about the fact that if you must go to school, you will borrow us money. Not like a government that wants to collect from the people all the time. What are you going to give back to the people? As a former senator of the National Association of Nigerian Students and a student union president of no mean repute, our argument way back has been education ought to be student loan, especially in terms of repayment. Because there are several other things you are going to do when you finish school. You're not going to gather all your money and then you're going to now use it to pay for the loans.
Reverend,
Number two, part of the cost.
Reverend, are you with me, sir? Sorry to butt in there. I quite agree with you. I quite agree with you that rather than speaking about student loans, we should be speaking about grants. Because there are no certain guarantees in a society where when you even graduate, you're not even sure of a 5 to 9 job. Absolutely. And all that. The possibilities are very slim. I quite agree with you. But just in the context of this conversation, my reverend, let us even look at the conditions for must apply to the chairman of the education bank through their respective institutions. An applicant's income or family's income must be less than 500 of not less than 12 years in service, or a lawyer with at least 10 years post-call experience, a judicial officer, or a justice of peace. Students who have defaulted on the previous loans are found guilty of exam malpractice, felony or drug offenses will not be considered. Let's look at the first set of conditions, Reverend.
Well, first of all, as we speak in this country, I'm not sure that we have an education bank just yet.
I'm not sure too.
I'm not sure that we have an education bank just yet. So if you talk about the chairman of the education bank through your institution, I'm not very sure. I'm not aware that we have an education bank. Number two is that your minimum wage is 30,000.
It's 30,000.
So if you
per annum.
So if you, what
so at 30,000 minimum wage, it's still within 500,000.
Yeah, but even at that, what happens to, because how many families, it's a good thing because you are trying to help the students go through school.
True.
But like I said, I am a little bit more concerned about a holistic approach to it. I do not know the amount that is going to be granted as a loan, the money back. But
2
I think
years
that
after
on the average,
your youth service.
in an attempt to oil our education proficiency as a country,
okay.
On the average, I think that is a good attempt. We just need to rejig the Education Act,
right, and
try to make it the drawing board, because there are several stakeholder objections to the matter. NANS has objections. National Association of Nigerian Holistic yet it's not robust just yet. So I'll give the president some kudos for attempting, as it were, to release some money for students so that they can have a smooth sail through the educational pursuit.
Okay, Reverend, one more thing. I know you've talked about, you know, making it more robust or rejigging the, say, there is an open ground and then people are asked opinions. What do you think should be done, should be removed, or should be put? What would you say? And find out, oh, what do you think would be better? Of course, you can't get everybody's opinion. You can't do all, but gathering some may even give them a better age to actually know where to start from. So what would you advise?
A needs assessment. And in doing needs assessment, you engage the people, you put up questionnaires, or you get a cross section of people, and there's a quota for it to be globally acceptable. And there are, you know, a quota engagement.
No, but
Reverend,
sir, to make this more encapsulating, are you sure, are you certain that even when the notion for that bill was to go through all those assessments and evaluation and first
and decide to do that by themselves?
No, my dear, they can wake up. They wake up in this country. I'm not even sure that many of our lawmakers even wake up. Even inside sleep, they can assume things for their in touch with what happens at the student, movement. A few days ago, I spoke at the National Council, the National Youth Council in Edo State. So I'm not sure that any such thing we need. So you go to a place that needs a transformer, you give them a borehole. You go to a place that needs electricity, and then you give them something that they don't need. Because I'm not sure that any of such engagement, has taken place. So because I say that it is a good approach, the intention is good. We have to go the needs of the Nigerian students. Is it even loans or grants or whatever it is that we need, at this particular, point in time? Those are the issues.
Of course, getting to find out. Assuming you are asked to advise, what could be done, like you said, trying to fix the loan, rejig it again.
Still within the context of the policy, still within the context of Student Loan Act.
No, like I said, my perspective to the issue is a little bit different. In the sense that I'm looking at the whole of education financing. If you look at the Education Charter United Nations, what they look at is a holistic education financing. I've been to universities, federal universities in this country, and I'm delivering a lecture and it's raining, and the roof is leaking right while I'm in the lecture hall trying to deliver a lecture there. So we should look at a more robust education financing. There's universities you go to, even in Abuja there. So goes on strike, they have their own issues. So I would have thought that it's a more robust thing. United Nations says 26% at the minimum of our annual budget must be dedicated to education. How well have we done as a government? The best that we have done is 11%, patronizing just the aspect of the student. Should look at a robust act that will take care of financing the whole of the education sector. Education is big business. And if government gets it right, we can even have foreign students and forex, foreign exchange from foreign students who come into Nigeria to study, like it was, some years ago for the whole of the education sector, which is horribly challenged very just now.
Well, Reverend,
because if the lecturers are not on ground, the student cannot be there. So if you are now on the remote at home.
I quite agree with you, my Reverend. But remember that as we speak, this current administration has inherited an economy that is owing in, I think, close to 80-something trillion, if my brain serves me well. And of course, we understand that the United Nations administration, I do not think any government has been able to fund up to 20%. So I quite agree with you. But bearing in mind all these challenges, that this kind of government will take up, that, especially with the scarcity of revenue and the dwindling value of Naira. My Reverend, we are...
Thank you, I will. First of all, I wish I can sympathize with President Tinubu, but I do not, because it's APC to APC. All right? They had the opportunity to advise. He decided to contest for governor. He contested for presidency, so he should handle, these issues. Number 3 is that they should cut down the cost of running government. The presidential fit is still too large. The convoy of the president too large. Charity money still run an over bloated office. So let's reduce cost of living, cost of running governance generally. And
Hello, Reverend.
And then I want to ask myself, I think his brain or his ideas should have been borrowed when, you know, working or trying to develop the Students' Bill Act, Loan Act. It's a good thing, but you see the conditions, it looks like it's only the rich that can access the bill.
No, but let's also bear in mind that there is no policy of government or an act that has turned to a bill from the yes. Reverend has said a lot of germane issues, and I quite agree with him. But you know, just like we have you know the right things to do, not even worked out a model, you know, to be able to salvage all the debts we are owing. We're talking about an economy that, you know, in the past, it's a pity time is not enough for us to robustly continue on this conversation.
Okay, thank you so much, Shegun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to have you on the program again.
A civil society big wit. He is in ministry. He's a man of God also. And by the grace of God, I shouldn't be the one announcing this, but I know he's going to be contesting for governor of Edo State, and I wish him luck.
Okay, good luck, Reverend. All right, so at this point, I'd like to say thank you so much for staying glued to your TV. It's been a program, The Law of the People and Governance, here on Spectrum Television. And of course, we'll be back again tomorrow. So catch you right back again tomorrow. Thank you, Shegun.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Catch you again tomorrow, like I said before.